looked at FinTech from yesterday to tomorrow, we're now going to look at the power of partnerships and how doing so can help put the consumer first. And to kick us off, we're going to be looking at one active partnership between Zopa, Clearscore, and the Money Charity, alongside other members and industry enablers of the 2025 FinTech Pledge, a campaign to drive 10 million actions that improve consumers' financial resilience by 2025. So we'll be hearing from Jaidev, who's the CEO of Zopa, Justin, who's the CEO of Clearscore as well, and to introduce them and moderate this discussion, I'm very thrilled to be welcoming Michelle Highman, who's the CEO of the Money Charity.
Thank you, and welcome to this fireside chat on the FinTech Pledge. So, as we said, I'm joined by Jaidev, CEO of Zopa Bank, and Justin, Group CEO of Clearscore. So, Jaidev, can you kick off by telling us about the pledge? What was the original idea? Why did Clearscore and Zopa get together to set it up?
Yeah, so I think this goes back to sometime in the middle of last year. The cost of living crisis was starting to ramp up, and as such, I think it's definitely in the culture of Zopa, in the culture of Clearscore, to help customers improve their financial resilience. And as we were looking at the crisis, we thought, what can we do? And not just as us as companies, but what can FinTech do together to help customers through this crisis? And one of the things that we were worried about is that as things get bad in the external world, customers might choose to disengage. The worry, the stress makes people not look at things. So we said, how can we think about a few easy actions that empower customers to do something better on their own financials? And we figured, given what was happening, there were 3 or 4 things they could do. The first was savings. To the extent people have savings, how can you get the best out of that? A lot of money and a lot of people were leaving money in high street banks, which was earning them nothing. And when the world, there is high inflation, that's terrible for them. So one of the actions that we came up with was how do you, just moving your money from what we call zombie accounts that don't pay you anything or pay you very little, to a higher interest earning savings account that a lot of the challenger banks and other people actually deliver. So that was kind of one, and I think across FinTechs, many FinTechs do that. So we thought that would be the easy action for customers to take that can help them make better with money. The second was around debt. How do you lower cost of debt? And we thought there were 2 options there. One, using marketplaces like Clearscore or debt consolidation calculators that companies like Zopa provide. If they can look at whether they could actually save money by consolidating their debt and lowering their monthly payment, then that leaves them more for them to do other things with. So, and the other thing they could do to lower their cost of debt was really monitoring their credit score and improving it, because the better your credit score is, the lower cost of credit you can get. So those were 2 other actions. Can you just consolidate your debt to lower your monthly outgoings? Can you start monitoring your credit score and improve it over a period of time, such that you can get access to better credit, cheaper credit in the future? And the last one was about outgoings. Clearly, it was almost impossible to get a lower price energy bill, which was what was happening with energy. But there were still other things, broadband, cable, and so on, where people could save money. And if they could again use marketplaces and actively manage those outgoings, then we thought that would be the 4th action that they could drive. So by combining these 4 actions, we felt that consumers could take a bit of control themselves and in effect, lower their cost of debt or their monthly outgoings, just improving financial resilience. And we saw that, at least when we did some research at Zopa, we saw that customers that could typically take 1 or 2 of these actions could save as much as £500 to £1,000 a year in doing that, which would be a meaningful amount given what's happening out there in the world. So that's what the start of the pledge was.
Thank you. And Justin, can you tell us what the pledge has achieved so far, a year on?
Yes, I can. Very nice to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. So really, the pledge has achieved a lot. But the most important thing for me about the pledge is that it's trying to do what this conference is doing, which is really trying to bring together collaboration across the industry and give it a brand. right? And so if you think about all of the financial institutions, of which there are many in the UK, the FinTech community has a huge opportunity to come together and make a difference. And as Jaidev said, we've tried to define in the pledge what those differences are. And so there are 38 companies now that have joined the pledge. So if you're one of them, put your hand up. Very good. Be proud, Gregor. Very good. Be proud. So if you haven't joined, that's most of you, and you're in a FinTech, you want to join, right? Okay, so you can go to pledge2020.org and you can go and join. So join the 38 organizations. And like any good FinTech, like any good business, what do? We set a target for how many actions we really wanted to drive in order to help consumers through this cost of living crisis. And so we set a year one target of 10 million, and we are 7 million through that already. And so we're making fantastic progress. And we see that across all of the research that we do with people who, with all of our users. Zopa, you talked about that, Jaidev. Clearscore, users of Clearscore increase their credit score by 50 points on average in a year. Right? So by taking these actions, by coming together, by encouraging users to be able to actually take these actions and feel good, especially when there are significant pressures on them, is making a real difference. The pledge members now have access to over 21 million cumulative users. So if you think about all of the things that we're doing to affect the lives of those 21 million, we can have a massive, massive impact. So the pledge is having an impact. One of the things that we're doing as well is financial education, which is something that is super important. We've heard about it this morning on a couple of the panels, massively underserved in the UK. I think we'd all agree with that. And one of the founding charity partner was the Money Charity. And so, Michelle, do you want to tell us a bit about the Money Charity?
Yeah, sure. So the Money Charity is the UK's financial capability and financial wellbeing charity. So we exist to help everybody make the most of their money throughout their lives. So we work with everybody, young people and adults, and all backgrounds, to help them make the most of their money and to try to see money as an enabler and helping them achieve their goals and dreams for themselves and their families. So we deliver workshops and webinars across the UK in schools, colleges, universities, community groups, workplaces, everywhere really, that people get together and are willing to let us come and talk to them. And we're on track to reach over 40,000 people this year in that way. So, not an insignificant amount of people that we're reaching with our really important messages. And so there's obviously a real synergy between what we do and the FinTech Pledge and the kind of focus on financial resilience and financial well-being. So Zopa and Clearscore have kindly agreed to a multi-year partnership with ourselves to deliver to fund us to deliver some of our community workshops. So that means we're obviously able to do more of those, but we're delivering and talking to care leavers, the homeless, people with learning disabilities, all sorts of adults who have particular needs or a particular kind of way of looking at their money. So obviously the funding is helping us do more of that really important stuff. And we know that they work. We obviously evaluate and look at the impact of them. And one really great stat is that we asked people before how confident they were at managing their money and their sort of financial capability score. And that improved from 45% to 82% at the end of one of our sessions. So a real impact from just a couple of hours of talking to us. And then we've also been working with Clearscore and Zopa on the money sort of content on the new website. So Money Matters content, and that has reached I think 1.3 million reach so far, 3.3 million, gosh, you can see I don't work in FinTech, I can't remember the difference between the numbers, but 3.3 million impressions, that's the word I'm looking for, and 7,000 people have clicked on the blog. So again, seeing as it was only launched in September, a really good and strong impact. And then finally, some of the funding that we've that they've provided, we're going to try to use to see if we can channel individuals from that content on the website into our workshops. So our workshops are normally delivered through partners, and on this occasion we're going to see if we can get individuals just to sign up and do a sort of almost like a drop-in virtual session. So that's a great opportunity for us to see if that can work. So, back to you, Jaidev. In terms of the kind of future for the pledge, do you think the pledge is on track to reach its original goals, and what do you think is next?
Yeah, so, I think we've been really heartened and positively surprised by the level of support we've got from the FinTech community. The 10 million target that I think Justin talked about, we had thought that that's what we'll get there by 2025. And within a year, you're now at 7 million. So clearly we will achieve that and exceed that. Thus we are actually actively thinking about, as the first year anniversary comes, I think it's in next month or so, about how do we take this forward. Clearly we would want to drive more than 10 million actions, so figuring out what that bigger number would be is one thing. Second is really understanding the impact that we have had. So Justin and I were talking the other day about how do we actually start measuring the impact and communicating that back to our partners, but also to consumers, because it's that impact that will help them actually hopefully generate more actions and continue to do these actions on an ongoing basis. We also want to, I think you talked about financial content and financial education, so I think we want to really harness the power of technology to deliver more of that content, both in an engaging fashion, so using, the campaign that you talked about was using Instagram. So we want to kind of really go where people are, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever the new things kids are playing with often that I have to ask my teenage son about. But let's go find that places and deliver that content, because and secondly, I think we're really excited about the possibilities that generative AI brings to this, how we can make content even more engaging. One of our enabling partners that we want to work with would be Google, and how do we kind of do things with some of the latest technologies that are out there that creates content that is even more engaging and really delivers that education without having to have the human element as much to it. So those are some of the things that we are really thinking about in terms of how do we take the pledge further. So more actions, kind of communicating some of the impacts of those actions, and lastly, how do we create the content in a way that is far more engaging and really take use of the best technology that is available out there to make it more engaging, more enjoyable, and more effective.
Thank you. And Justin, this, as you pointed out, there's 38 different partners in the pledge, so that's quite a brave undertaking, I suppose, to work in partnership with so many different types of organisations. What lessons do you think we can learn from what we've achieved so far?
Yeah, firstly, I just can't wait for an AI version of Jaidev on TikTok giving me financial advice. I'm looking forward to that day, my friend.
I think AI version of you would be far better.
No, I think you don't nail it. I think that you're exactly right. It is a bit of a undertaking when you bring so many organizations together, and normally all of us in our individual businesses, we might have commercial relationships, but actually people like working in the charity sector or in your sector, often working in collaboration is really important. And so what I've been most pleased about is some of the collaborations that have come out of the group. So, for example, Clearscore and Step Change, we've been partnering to take the Step Change digital journey and embed that in Clearscore. We've seen over the last year 1 million of our users start to become payment impaired, start to come under financial pressure. And now we've had thousands of those users referred over to Step Change. And not all of them have gone all the way through to a debt management plan, but that process is something which makes me feel good that we're actually intervening with customers who might be coming under pressure and might be vulnerable. So that's just one example of these collaborations coming together.
Yeah. And finally, I suppose, what else do you want everyone else in the room and the other partners to be doing? What's the one thing you would ask them to take forward or to?
So if you are a pledge member, you will be invited to an event, in a 1-year anniversary event in the early stages of November. When is it, Joe? Early stages of November. Joe's behind on that OKR.
I think
Very
it's
good. So early stages of November. And that is a really important meeting because what Jaidev and I and Michelle, what we really want to do is start to really facilitate these collaborations so that we can start to get all of the expertise, all of the incredible technology that is held in these companies really together so that we can take the FinTech Pledge to the next level. If you aren't a member of the FinTech Pledge, you should go to pledge2025.org, pledge2025.org, say it after me, pledge2025.org, and you should sign up. And we really want this to be as broad a church as possible because the more of us that can come together to brand our industry and the impact that we are having in consumers' lives every single day, the better for the UK, the better for our businesses, and ultimately, the better for our users. And that's the FinTech Pledge.
And you'd also like them to donate to the Money Charity, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, I would. And Michelle and I work, I'm a trustee on the Money Charity. Money Charity is the most amazing charity for financial education. So, you know, one of the things that I did when I started as a trustee there, a couple of years ago, is I went and saw some of these workshops in employers and in schools. And it is absolutely fantastic. So if you don't know about the Money Charity, please learn about the Money Charity. If you do know about the Money Charity and you haven't donated, please think about donating to the Money Charity. So sign up to the pledge, donate to the Money Charity. That's it. Anything else I need to do?
That's all right. You can go now.
Excellent.
Well done,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.